May I come in, please?
Come in, come in.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Please sit down.
Thank you, sir.
Chaitanya, is this your first mock here or
Sir, I have been attending previous mocks with other institutions.
how many mocks you have attended so far?
Sir, would be my third mock interview.
Third mock here.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you're from West Bengal.
Yes, sir.
Now, what was the Darjeeling issue or what is there now? People were agitating for some time there. So what has happened now?
Yes, sir. So if you look at the Darjeeling Hills, it's culturally as well as linguistically different from the Bengal Plains. It is an hilly speaking region which speaks Nepali as its primary language. So they have been demanding a separate Gorkhaland state. So this was the reason for the agitation out there.
But what has happened now?
Yes, sir. So the state government has constituted the GTA, which is the Gorkhaland Territorial Administration, as a self-autonomous body it has been given certain powers and jurisdictions with regard to local management of the areas such as water, sanitation. So the situation has relatively calmed down for the demand of a separate statehood.
Okay. Commerce and accountancy is your optional subject.
Yes, sir.
Now, do you have an idea of what our exports, quantum of our exports and imports?
So we have got a trade deficit at the moment, which is and however, in the previous economic survey, we had a trade surplus of roughly 60 billion. So it was,
Okay.
yes, sir.
So who is our largest trading partner?
So we have got USA as our largest trading partner at the moment.
Okay. Now, I was reading an article a few days ago which said that we should be doing more trade in our own, for example, in Asia,
Yes, sir.
rather than in Europe or elsewhere, Do you agree with that view?
Yes, sir. We should always aim to have greater trade ties with our neighbors, especially in Asia, to ensure that we can have a sustainable growth, as well as from the geopolitical view, it would serve as a counter to China. So I believe that yes, this would be a welcome step for us.
Okay. And what is happening to the FTAs that we are negotiating? Any idea you have?
Yes, sir. So we have recently concluded FTA agreements with UAE as well as Australia, and we are having negotiations with European Union as well as with Great Britain. So it would be a welcome step, as it would lead to further exports from India to these countries. So it would also be a welcome step, as it would lead to greater visas for Indian professionals to work over there. So this should be encouraged to ensure that we can have greater trade surplus and higher economic ties with the rest of the world.
What are your service preferences?
Sir, I've placed IAS as my first preference, followed by IFS and then IPS.
Okay. US shot down a flying object in Alaska, northern region of Alaska. I think it is the second time now in few days. They shot a balloon, as you know,
Yes, sir.
and this has happened now.
Yes, sir.
What is it about now? What is happening?
Yes, sir. So the country China is claiming that it is one of its research satellites, whereas USA is claiming that it could be a spying object. So I believe that USA has done the right step in shooting down the satellite, because it tantamounts to violating the territorial integrity of a sovereign country. So I believe that yes, it is a right step that should have been done by the USA government.
Have we found any flying objects in India in the last few years? Did you find anything? Did you find?
So I'm not aware whether India has found out.
Okay. In Andaman Nicobar Islands, we had a balloon some years ago. Now, we'll briefly go to Myanmar. There is a military regime there. Now tell me, they are committing all kinds of atrocities, they put so many people behind bars and kind of muzzling democracy, Aung San Suu Kyi, is very close to us, she studied in India, but we have not taken a tough stand, or we are even not nudging the military regime there to, usher in democracy or whatever, Why are we doing so?
So if we look at the foreign policy as propounded by Honorable Foreign Minister, he has said that the policy which India follows is for its national interest. So we have been following this policy of tacitly supporting the military regime, so as to counter China's influence in the Asian region, as well as to prevent further instability and drug and arms inflow in the northeast region. So according to me, and to quote the foreign minister, we have been following this policy to safeguard our national interest.
Chaitanya, I have just a point on this.
Yes, sir.
You talked about China. China is already there, very much there in Myanmar. They would not have persisted in their designs without the support of China.
Yes,
China is very much there. So how are we countering China really? In what way?
So by tacitly supporting the the military regime and not shutting off ties at all, like we had done previously with the Taliban regime in 2001. So by having flows of communication as well as channels open, so we can at the least we can have certain communications open.
Thank you, Chaitanya.
Thank you, sir.
Chaitanya, you have did your graduation from Hansraj, eh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Who was Hansraj?
So Mahatma Hansraj, he was one of the founders of the DAV college in Lahore. So he was an educationist and a follower of the Dayanand Anglo-Vedic philosophy as started by Maharishi Saraswati.
No, she Saraswati.
Yes, sir.
And who was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu?
Yes, sir. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was a very famous bhakti saint who started the Gaudiya Vaishnavism. His main area of working was Orissa, Bengal as well as Mathura. So he is regarded as an incarnation of Lord Krishna by his followers. He is also known as Gauranga due to his fair skin color.
Can you trace the Bhakti movement, say from 1900 to 1947? The different, because the different things were going in the different parts of the country, something in Maharashtra, something in Punjab, something in West Bengal. So can you give a complete analysis of the entire thing?
Sir, I know about Maharashtra and Bengal. I'm not aware about Punjab. Can I say about these states with your permission?
You have recently mentioned Punjab and the contribution of
Okay.
and then his further branches, matlab his decibels and all these things. So
Yes.
so now you please analyze.
Yes, sir. Sir, in Maharashtra, we had Shirdi Sai Baba in that cult propagating bhakti movement. Sir, in Bengal, we had the ISKCON with Prabhupada, and we also had Swami Vivekananda, who propounded India's Vedanta philosophy worldwide. So in Punjab we had the Maharishi Saraswati as well as Jawaharlal in the Kuka movement, who started and furthered the Bhakti movement all around the country as well as the world.
And basically the Sikhs, they have contributed a lot during the freedom struggle. So can you give some instances or some examples?
Yes, sir. So like for example, Swami Vivekananda, he inculcated nationalism among the youth and popularized Indian philosophy around the world, which led to enlightenment among the youth population of our country, and it led to boost in the confidence of the country people that yes, they are equal to the European powers. So this is one of the contribution that I can recall at the moment. And so even with Dayanand Maharishi Saraswati, he was from the revivalist movement, and it also led to enlightenment among the Hindu population in North India. So these are some of, and for example, Lala Lajpat Rai, he was also very much inspired by Maharishi Saraswati. So these are some of the freedom fighters who were also inspired by them, which led to contribution to the Indian national movement.
West Bengal, it's a beautiful state and it has contributed a lot for the country, for the freedom struggle and for the entire country also. But sometimes some people are, it's a gone state and some they say it is a beautiful state. So how will you do it?
Yes, sir.
Why the people are saying it is a gone state and it's a beautiful state, it has contributed a lot for the country.
So if you look at our state, West Bengal, so it has contributed magnificently towards the Indian national freedom. We had many freedom fighters such as Subhash Chandra Bose, Khudiram Bose, Surya Sen, and Prafulla Chaki as well. So we have been a propaganda. So it's still, Calcutta is still called the cultural capital of the country, and it has got a magnificent beauty around these districts like Darjeeling, Sundarbans, Kuch Bihar. So, however, at the same time, we can also see that West Bengal is faltering at few instances, so such as industry, political violence. So, these are some of the issues which are plaguing our state at the moment. So like all other states, it has got its own pros and cons at the moment. Yes, sir.
But at one point of time, it was the most industrialized state.
Yes, sir.
So what has happened? Why it has gone to such a state?
Yes, sir. So if we look post 1947, there have been a mix of policies by the state as well as the central government, so such as the equalization levy policy, as well as the partition of Bengal in 1947, which disrupted the main jute growing areas and it went to East Pakistan at the moment. So followed by that, we had got the Naxalite movement in West Bengal, followed by further policies of the state government, which resulted in the outflow of investments from our state. So these was and the further land acquisition rules of the numerous governments. So these were some of the reasons why the state faltered in attracting investments, and there was an outflow of capital from our state. Yes, sir.
So recently in the J&K issue is always a boiling point for the country, and now the central government is planning to conduct the elections
Yes, sir.
in the state, and one is union territory, and the people are demanding that the statehood should be restored. So what are the constitutional principles where the statehood can be restored and why it was basically declared as union territory?
Yes, sir. So the state of Jammu Kashmir was turned into a union territory. So as per the constitutional amendment, and so some of the reasons are due to law and.
By which amendment?
So I'm not able to recall the amendment.
Okay.
So some of the reasons were to maintain internal stability within the state and to prevent external aggression. So we can further change the present union territory status to statehood. So we'll have to pass another constitutional amendment to do so. So like if the will of the people to have a further statehood is there, then we can think about further transforming in the long run. It would be a welcome step. Yes, sir.
We are having that in elections. We have the panchayat elections, then municipal elections, then Vidhan Sabha elections, then parliament elections and all these things.
Yes, sir.
So sometimes the demand comes that there should be a one or two one-time elections or the maximum two-time elections. So how to organize it and why there are so many, some states going this way, some states going that way, 5 states in this year, 7 states next year. So if you are appointed as the chief election commissioner of the country, so how will you organize one election?
Yes, sir.
And what constitutional amendment you will be going to have?
Yes, sir. So we are having different state elections and even elections for the Lok Sabha at different times. So it leads to a break in continuity in governance. So at the same time, it leads to a lot of financial expenditure due to the enormous machinery that is involved in the entire process. So at the same time, if we have got all the elections at one time, it might lead to an erosion in the local issues that gets highlighted in the Lok Sabha, in the Legislative Assembly elections, and it might also prevent the people at large to communicate and air their grievances against the governments. So as a Chief Election Commissioner, I would further propose that we should ensure dialogue with the regional parties as well as the national parties, as well as have further communication and involvement of the people as well as members from the civil society as regards to their opinion and decisions, and consequently on that I would suggest to have further evolution of the elections in India.
But some constitutional amendment will be required, because if they say Bihar Assembly is dissolved after 2.5 years, so how that assembly will complete the term for 5 years?
So I'm not aware about the constitutional amendment that would be
Okay,
required.
okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Chaitanya, you come from Siliguri and your district is Darjeeling.
Yes, sir.
What does Siliguri mean?
So in the prehistoric, so in the ancient historical times, it was found by archaeologists that there used to exist a river port which would transport stones from the upper Gangetic valleys and Teesta Valley to the lower
What does
Bengal.
Darjeeling mean?
So Darjeeling is a Tibetan word which means thunder and dragon. So this is the amalgamation of Darjeeling word.
थोड़ा और पढ़ लीजिएगा. You are almost
sir.
right.
Yes, sir.
थोड़ा और पढ़ लीजिएगा.
Yes, sir.
Hmm?
Yes, sir.
And what is the most important international event or happening going on in the world?
So some of the most important is the Russian-Ukraine war that's happening, as well as the Turkey and Syria earthquake that has elicited an international recovery and relief operations. So these two are the largest.
What is the reason of Russia-Ukraine war?
Yes, sir.
Why they are fighting? The whole world is has been put at trouble.
Yes, sir.
What are the reasons?
So if we look at the viewpoint of Russia, they claim that Ukraine is trying to get into NATO and also get arms and ammunition from the Western world, which might be used against Russia in the coming years. So if you look at the point of Ukraine, they say that Russia is manipulating and influencing its population in Donbass as well as the eastern Ukraine region, and Russia is planning to capture those areas like they had captured Crimea in 2014. So due to this conflict future ideas, there have been war between Russia and Ukraine.
What is India's stand in that?
So Narendra Modi, our honorable Prime Minister, has quoted that this is not the era of war. So India's position has been to further foster negotiation and peace to ensure that there is no humanitarian crisis that comes around in Ukraine and Russia. So this has been the stand of India. And to further quote our honorable Foreign Minister as well, that it is in India's national interest to follow independent foreign policy. So it has not been influenced by the Western bloc to condemn our ally Russia and Putin.
Why are we not taking sides with anyone?
Yes, sir. So India is following its own national interest and it is not taking any sides so as to maintain its international position as a independent trendsetter, I would say, and to foster its national interest in the field of economics and further geopolitical strategy.
Few years back there was exchange of enclaves.
Yes,
Conclaves, huh? Enclaves.
Yes, sir.
What was that?
Yes, sir. So if you look in the eras of the princes, the king of Kuch Bihar and the king of Rangpur in Bangladesh, they used to play chess and they would put their land as pawns or as collaterals that we can say. and so it led to complex borders. Like there would be certain territories of Bangladesh lying completely surrounded by India, and vice versa on the other side. So there was this land swap agreement where
Why it so happened?
yes, sir. So the,
Our patches being in Bangladesh, their patches being in our territory. I mean, when the line was decided for demarcation, why those remained there?
so
And
those
here?
yes, sir. So those territories they arose due to the kings of Kuch Bihar and Rangpur. They would play Ludo and other games, and they would put those lands as their collaterals, and so this led to swapping of territories between the two kings, and that remained unresolved at the time of partition. So these land borders, which we call cheat mahals, they existed up till the land swap agreement between India and Bangladesh.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Chaitanya,
Yes,
Hansraj College,
Yes, sir.
when was this platinum jubilee observed?
So the college was founded in 1949, and we had the platinum jubilee in so I think 2019, if I'm not wrong.
Okay. Which is the largest tax reform carried out in our country since independence?
Yes, sir. So in the field of indirect taxation, we had the implementation of GST. As the
GST,
largest-
through which constitutional amendment?
So I'm not 100% sure. Can I take a guess? So was it the 101st Constitution?
101st, that's right. So, under which articles, how many articles were there in which amendments were made?
So I'm not able to recollect the entire.
Anyway,
gamut.
5. So, how many of these you know?
So I know about Article 279A,
That relates with?
so the creation of the GST and Council.
Okay.
Yes,
Any
sir.
other?
So I'm not able to recollect any other.
Okay, so budget presented this year
Yes, sir.
is an indication towards fiscal consolidation, growth and inclusion. How? Fiscal consolidation, growth and inclusion.
Yes, sir. So the three pillars of the budget, it rested in furthering capital expenditure. So the second was the Saptarishi, sir, for furthering financial inclusion and promoting growth for the particularly vulnerable tribal groups. And so the third is through promoting reforms in state government expenditures. So through these parts, the government is planning to ensure capital. I'm not able to recollect at the moment.
Fiscal consolidation,
fiscal
growth
consolidation.
and inclusion.
Growth and inclusion, yes, sir. So there are other policies such as reforms for agriculture and farmers, and also for the women and students, also youth population have been given special incentives for skill formation through numerous institutes. So these are some of the ways.
Anyway, economic survey
Yes, sir.
was presented on 31st of January.
Yes, sir.
So, which are the challenges which India is facing related with its economy? Challenges faced by Indian economy as included in the economic survey.
So the first challenge is the global uncertainty prevalent in the world due to Russia, Ukraine and the
Yeah,
post-pandemic.
one.
The second is regarding low private sector research in innovation.
Prioritize if possible.
And third, I'm not able to recall.
What is this depreciation of rupee? Could that be?
So the depreciation of rupee is the fall in the exchange rate as compared to US dollar. So India's currency has depreciated by roughly 20% in the past year, and this has led to our trade
So this could be one of the challenges.
So depreciation provides its own advantages as well as its disadvantages. So for example, it makes export of agriculture products more competitive in the world economy. So it at the same time, issues such as it reduces the purchasing power within the country and also reduces the buffer of foreign exchange that we have. So it has both its advantages and disadvantages.
Okay, another one could be that pent up demand is declining. What do you mean by pent up demand?
Sir, can I take a guess if you would allow
Okay.
me to? Yes, sir. So the pent up, so the overall savings in the among the private population is decreasing.
Anyway,
Yes, sir.
During COVID, the main points were that how to save the life
Yes, sir.
and how to save the people from dying due to hunger.
Yes, sir.
So related with number 2, that to save the people from dying due to hunger, what steps were taken by the government?
Yes, sir. So the government started the PM Garib Kalyan Yojana.
That's
in
right. What
addition-
exactly that was? Yeah.
So it provided free grains to each and every household in addition to the actual supplies that were being made with National Food Security Act 2020.
Are you sure these were made free or additional 5 kg food grains?
Yes, sir. Additional 5 kg food grains.
So these were not free.
Yes, sir. I stand corrected on it.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That has been rolled back.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Then, in place of that, what has been done now under NFSA, National Food Security Act?
So I'm not aware about the reform that has been made recently.
Anyway, it is a free ration
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
to about 80 crore people.
Yes, sir.
So, what is your take on it? Should it be treated as freebies or a welfare measure?
So I think it should be treated as a welfare measure because nutrition and food security has been one of the priority of all the governments in independent India. So that at the same time, we should also ensure that further subsidies on food is reduced as we go in the long run to ensure that there is fiscal consolidation.
Okay, just now you have said that what was done during COVID period, 5 kg additional food grain.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
at
sir.
subsidized rate, not free.
Yes, sir.
Now COVID is almost over,
Yes, sir.
and now free food grains to approximately 80 crore people.
Yes, sir.
And you are saying that it is not freebies, it is a welfare measure.
Yes, sir.
Another thing, you might be knowing about PM, not PM, Manrega scheme. You
Yes,
know
sir.
Manrega?
Yes, sir.
So, what about the budget provision related with Manrega? Is it increased or decreased in this budget?
So in the current budget, there has been a decrease in the funds that have been allocated.
So, how much decrease?
So I'm not aware about the exact.
Anyway, it is
percentage.
33% than the revised estimate of last year. You might be knowing budget estimate and revised estimate. So,
Yes.
it is 33% less and it is 8 years low.
Yes, sir.
So, would it not have been better to increase the outlay of Manrega rather than giving free ration to the poor people? Because we should realize their potential. So, do you agree with this?
So I would like to quote the Ministry of Labour. He has said that Manrega is a demand-driven scheme, and so the fund that has been allocated, it would be sufficient to sustain the demand. However, at the same time, we are seeing that numerous civil society members, they are saying that there might be certain issues with regards to adequate payment of wages to the 100 days that have been mandated by the Act. So we'll have to look at this from the long point of view and see how the outcome would be regarding reduced allocation of funds.
So, providing free food grains, that is a better step rather than increasing the budget outlay for Manrega scheme and giving them employment. Okay, this is what you want to say.
So I would say that we'll have to look
Because
from
it will be very difficult to roll back any scheme.
Yes, sir. So in the short run, it might be a better step. However, in the long run,
Anyway,
we'll have
thank
to
you.
see the impact.
You wait for a minute outside, Chaitanya. We'll call you in and give you our feedback.
Thank you. Thank you.
Come, Chaitanya, sit down. I think unbutton your.
Yes.
So first, one or two tips I would like to give you about your, personal appearance and all. If you can, comb your hair properly.
Yes, sir.
The day of your interview.
Yes, sir.
And then I think, like your shirt, what you are wearing, maybe, have a fresh shirt,
Yes, sir.
rightly pressed,
Yes.
properly.
Yes, sir.
That's okay, I think. Shaving, I don't know, because you may be trimming.
So I was planning to wear this same.
No, trimming, you must
Ah,
be
so
trimming.
that will be, yes.
I don't know if for a day, just for a change, if you can shave, and then, later on
Yes,
you can grow your beard, I mean, doesn't matter. Now is a style, of course, people don't shave.
Yes.
But, you look better,
Yes,
smarter actually. So just a few suggestions from our panel actually for
Yes.
you, which will help you in
Yes, sir.
prepare. When is your interview?
So it's on 29th March.
So you have some time to prepare.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now the first advice I would like to give you about learn as much as about your state, West Bengal.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to ask you about Darjeeling, because I think your answer was good. Your answer was good, and but there could be questions on anything related to West Bengal.
Yes, sir.
Like for example, a question was also asked how it has not developed actually
Yes, sir.
over the years. I think a car factory, or what was that?
So Tata Singh.
Tata, yeah,
Singh.
they had to shift from
Yes, sir.
there, and things like that. There could be questions on Vivekanand,
Yes, sir.
questions on Subhash Chandra Bose.
Yes, sir.
So Ramakrishna Paramahans,
Yes, sir.
then about Mother Teresa,
Yes, sir.
So questions can be on those lines. Then if you are not reading a magazine called Economist, which is published from London,
Yes, sir.
just try to read it online.
Okay,
You
sir.
can also buy a copy if you want.
Yes, sir.
Economist. Basically for international affairs, because
Yes, sir.
you have put Indian Foreign Service as your second preference.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now for international affairs, I have a few topics in mind which I am going to give it to you. G20,
Yes, sir.
Quad,
Yes, sir.
then I think Russia-Ukraine war, which is going on now, and our immediate neighborhood.
Yes, sir.
And a question was asked about Bangladesh. You will get a question on Bangladesh.
Yes, sir.
Not only about the conclaves and all those things, but also about Bangladeshis coming and living illegally in India. It's a problem now.
Yes, sir.
Even I was reading the other day about Tamil Nadu now. They have landed in Tamil Nadu, these people,
Yes, sir.
apart from Delhi and elsewhere, even in Maharashtra.
Yes, sir.
So it's a problem area.
Yes, sir.
Budget, you can't escape a question on the budget.
Yes, sir.
So prepare well. I think my suggestion would be that read either Mint
Yes, sir.
or the Economic Times,
Yes, sir.
just for the budget analysis,
sir.
on the budget. Then I think foreign dignitaries visiting India around the time of your interview. Anybody, like your interview is in March,
Yes, sir.
but before that there could be the foreign ministers meeting related to G20.
Yes,
G20
sir.
foreign ministers meeting will be there.
Yes, sir.
So keep track of all that.
Yes, sir.
And when you do that, make notes.
Yes, sir.
In fact, when you list out a topic, you say, okay, in Russia-Ukraine war,
Yes, sir.
starting from the genesis to the developments, day-to-day developments on that, keep noting them down so that you know exactly what is happening.
Yes, sir.
Even about our stand on the Russia-Ukraine war, buying oil. Even you may have read now that Russia has decreased their oil production.
Yes, sir.
So the price will go up, by the way. The price will definitely go up. So read all that. Very interesting because we live in a world which is kind of dependent on what is happening, outside us,
Yes,
not
sir.
only what is happening here in India. So I think all the very best. And then if you have any questions for us, we'll be happy to answer.
So were my answers regarding Russia-Ukraine war and even Manrega allotment, so were they good, or how should I answer them?
Straightway criticizing the government इज़ नॉट गुड। आप स्ट्रेट वे कह दें कि नहीं ये तो ठीक नहीं है, ये तो हाँ मनरेगा का ये कर दिया, वो गवर्नमेंट ने ठीक डिसीजन नहीं लिया, लाइक दैट। ऐसे नहीं करना है, लेकिन
हाँ
उसी चीज़ को वट एवर यू फील उसी को ही थोड़ा आई मीन डिफरेंट वे में ये करना है। फॉर एग्जांपल जैसे इसका अगर आप द क्वेश्चन विच आई आस्क्ड क्या था कि जब कोविड में तो हमने किया कि एडिशनल फूड ग्रेन उसको दे दिए, लेकिन फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट नहीं दिए। अभी कोविड इज़ ओवर, ऑलमोस्ट ओवर फ्रॉम आवर कंट्री, है ना?
यस सर।
और अभी हम फ्री दे रहे हैं। एट दैट टाइम इट वॉज ए वेलफेयर मेजर, बड़ी ज़रूरत थी, लोगों के पास एम्प्लॉयमेंट नहीं था, तो अभी इनको फ्री दे रहे हैं हम 1 साल तक, अप टू द एंड ऑफ 2023, है ना? दे रहे हैं ना?
हाँ सर।
तो फ्री अब जब ज़्यादा ज़रूरत थी तब तो हमने उनको पेमेंट के साथ दिया, भले ही पेमेंट बहुत कम है, 3 रुपीज़ 2 रुपीज़ 1 रुपी उनका ये है, इतना ही है ना?
यस सर।
तो लेकिन हमने पेमेंट लिया। अब उसका क्या असर पड़ेगा कि बाकी चीज़ें हम डेवलपमेंट वर्क और नहीं कर पाएंगे, उतना पैसे से हम डिप्राइव होंगे। तो मनरेगा की ये घटाना 33% रिवाइज्ड एस्टीमेट से पिछले साल के और 8 साल का लोएस्ट होना, इससे अच्छा ये रहा होता कि इसमें हम ये बढ़ाते।
यस सर।
और अब उनको उनके पोटेंशियल को रियलाइज़ करते हुए अब वो एम्प्लॉयमेंट भी उनको मिल रहा है, सब हो रहा है, तो वो ज़्यादा बेटर रहा होता। ऐसा करके आप बोल सकते हैं। लेकिन स्टेट वे ये कहना कि नहीं नहीं थी तो फ्री भी है, हाँ ये तो नहीं करना चाहिए था गवर्नमेंट को, दिस दैट, ऐसा नहीं। इन माई ओपिनियन दैट वुड हैव बीन बेटर। ऐसा करके आप बोल सकते हैं। आप शायद इसलिए नहीं बोल रहे थे कि गवर्नमेंट की पॉलिसी है तो मैं क्यों क्रिटिसाइज करूं।
यस एग्जैक्टली।
स्ट्रेट वे एक्सट्रीम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू नहीं रखना है।
Okay, sir. So like I took a stand very much in favor of the government. I said that it's a
नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। अब आप वे समझ लीजिए, स्ट्रेट वे ये कहना कि हाँ गवर्नमेंट ने दिस इज नॉट द राइट स्टेप एट ऑल, ऐसा कहना ठीक नहीं है।
Yes, sir.
ठीक है ना? लेकिन आपका व्यू पॉइंट पूछा जा रहा है, अब आप अपने व्यू पॉइंट से तो यही कहेंगे ना, मनरेगा का वो घटाना, वो भी इतना ज़्यादा घटाना वो ठीक स्टेप नहीं है।
Yes, sir.
आप ये नहीं कहेंगे ठीक स्टेप नहीं है। सर, इन माई ओपिनियन this would have been better had we increased the outlay for Manrega rather than giving them grains free of cost.
Yes, sir.
Because now no more COVID और एम्प्लॉयमेंट का भी उतना बड़ा प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। उस टाइम तो कैसे खाएगा, मर जाएगा, ये उतना थी। उस टाइम तो हमने फ्री दिया नहीं, ऐसा बोलना नहीं है, ठीक है ना?
Yes, sir. हाँ.
तो ये है।
Yes, sir.
तो इसको थोड़ा सा सोफिस्टिकेटेड वे में अपना व्यू पॉइंट।
Okay, sir.
ठीक है?
Yes, sir. And so like anything other changes that I should make in my like demeanor or answers?
हाँ, वो थोड़ा सा और पढ़ेंगे ना। कब है आपका इंटरव्यू?
29 मार्च को।
20, अभी काफ़ी टाइम है।
Yes,
और आप अपना, क्योंकि बजट का जैसा चेयरमैन साहब ने कहा, बजट को बहुत अच्छे से पढ़िए, इकोनॉमिक सर्वे को बहुत अच्छा पढ़िए, इसलिए और भी कि आपका जो ये है कॉमर्स एंड अकाउंटेंसी आपका ऑप्शनल भी है।
Yes, sir.
ठीक है ना? और उस टाइम तक तो बजट सेशन ही चल रहा होगा। अब 14 तारीख के बाद ब्रेक होगा, 14 के बाद दोबारा से फिर शुरू हो जाएगा आपके उस टाइम तक।
Yes, sir.
तो उसको अच्छे से देखिए।
Most likely you are likely to get questions on budget,
Okay, sir.
and we have not asked any question related to your subject,
Yes, sir.
so you should prepare that also.
Okay, sir.
Particularly where is the connection between the budget and your subject.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
And generally, you know, the exports, imports, or like India, you know,
Yes, sir.
like oil, we are importing oil, as you know, how much oil we are importing, our dependence on oil, price of oil, dollar, you know, how the dollar is behaving now.
Yes, sir.
So all that will be very important for us because, you know, because that's your optional subject. And also, you know, we don't know what are your areas of interest.
Yes, sir.
So, you know, questions will be on your areas of interest.
Yes.
Like your
Incidentally,
hobbies.
what are your areas of interest? Because we did not have.
आपका
We don't have
hobbies नहीं
that.
था, hobbies का भी पढ़िए अच्छे से। हमारे पास था नहीं आपका वो।
We don't
आपकी
have that
hobbies
with us.
You have to. Sir, I had supplied the.
Yeah, but we don't have.
हमको मिला
Anyway,
नहीं।
Yes, sir.
What are your hobbies?
So my hobby was kitchen gardening and learning foreign language German.
Okay.
So, two questions on that.
On
At least
kitchen
one
gardening,
question.
prepare very well.
Yes, sir.
All good wishes. You are a good candidate. You are having good chance and first time get through it.
Do 1 or 2 more mocks maybe, wherever you think you know. So,
So like if any grade or marks that you could give to my today's paper.
well, I would give you about 65%. You're happy? That's quite high.
Yes, sir.
So.
Thank you.
All good wishes.
Yes, thank you, sir.